for coming in. Just before 11 o'clock, let's talk to Jay Smith, founder of Beiwei 55, a travel company hiring British people to do tours of the UK in Mandarin. More Chinese tourists are visiting Britain, according to Visit Britain. So, Jay, I would expect business is booming. Have you got enough sort of Mandarin-speaking guides to take people round?
Good morning, Adrian. Yeah, so when we first started out, we thought that might be a bit of an issue, actually, but there's a growing number of people studying Chinese, a growing number of Brits working and living in China and coming back to the UK. And when you spend a lot of time learning one of the hardest languages in the world, you want to use that if you can. So we're fortunate, actually, in that we're spoiled for choice with our new kind of candidates and new guys that we take on board.
Where do they tend to be learning Mandarin?
A lot of them in universities. As I say, there are certainly growing numbers. People are more and more aware of how big the Chinese economy and China as a country is going to be in the future. So there's more and more going to university to study that, and then following on that with work within China. You even get those who haven't even thought about Chinese throughout their entire life until they get posted out there for work and then end up there for 5-10 years and come back to the UK. So it's not a language you can pick up. You have to put a lot of effort in, but it's certainly becoming more and more popular.
And obviously the first stop is Bicester Village, because as far as I can see, that's the first place that they want to go to, the designer outlet there. But after that, what kind of places are appealing?
Yeah, Bicester's certainly a big pull. There are other destinations outside of that. London is one of the major destinations, as is Edinburgh. Cambridge and Oxford again. It is a lot of the pull is still within the south and the southeast around the London area, but there are organisations such as Visit Britain and Visit England that are trying to do more to attract Chinese tourists outside of those areas. York is another upcoming destination, but it really depends on the type of Chinese tourist. The older generation, as you say, Bicester Village, it's incredible when you go there and you see the amount of Chinese actually visiting there. But the younger generations, the more semi-independent tourists, fully independent tourists, they're actually more interested in more local experiences, a bit slower, maybe more authentic kind of travel experiences. And they're willing to pay for that exclusivity. So it does really depend on the market, and it's always dangerous to generalise. And it's such a huge market as well. It depends which sector you're going for there.
And do you deal with cliches much, Steady? I mean, the warm beer, the fish and the chips. Do you have to sort of get that out of the way, do it, and then move on to other stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. Social media in the West is big, but in China, my word, it's all about, particularly with the young generations, getting those photos up there, getting those photos in front of Big Ben. We on our tours, if we can, we take our guests for a pint in a local pub, or a whiskey over in Scotland, or a tea in a quaint British tea room. There are a lot of cliches there that you have to keep them happy and make sure they get those. But outside of that, it's the conversations that you have with them. They are genuinely interested in the way we think on topics that are dramatically different, be it democracy, be it what we eat, be it how the world works, how we view China. So it is fascinating when you get down to that level, but yeah, undoubtedly there are certain things you've got to tick off that list to keep them happy.
All right, best of luck with it. Jay Smith, co-founder of Beiwei 55.